I think if anyone listens to this, I think that the heart of it is that to be in pursuit of balance means to really protect your yeses, establish your no's, stand firm in those, but also to acknowledge that like you cannot be all things to all people.
All right, so we're here and going to talk about the balance between work and family and life. Like, how do you balance it all? I think one of the biggest questions I ever get is either, if you had to start over, what would it be? And the second one, just equally asked as much as, how do you do it all?
Yeah.
Because you said it before, and like Beyonce has 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
We have 24 hours a day. People watching have 24 hours in a day. And I think it's a really great question. I think it's one that I'd love to discuss, like real and raw, because I shared this with you, and I'll share it with everybody listening and watching, is I'm on the go so much, and I'm on so much. Like I'm on stage, then I'm on camera, then I'm on a podcast, then I'm on an interview, then I'm doing my own training, that I just want to deliver value really fast. And sometimes I know it can come across like, just do this and this will make it and this will go. And it leaves out, or this will work, it leaves out the struggles along this journey, right? And I think what's great about what we're doing is sharing the struggles so everybody knows they're human.
Yeah.
So how do you, if we started this out, like what do you think is your biggest struggle in balancing a growing business, a new mom, you know, being a wife and having a husband and just keeping that all in check?
Yeah. Well, I think the idea of balance is the biggest struggle because I don't ever think that things will be fully balanced. I think that in life, like your focus is always going to be towards one thing.
Yep.
And as long as you can acknowledge that like this is a season where this is priority. But I mean, the hardest part about being a new mom is that I feel like when I'm working, I'm thinking about my baby. And when I'm with my baby, I'm thinking about work.
Yeah.
And I'm never
As a
all
dad, I
in.
do too.
Yeah. And I just feel like I want to sell the dream that you can do it all. And I believe that you can. Like, I believe women can be an amazing mom and rock an amazing career. But I also think that that has to go with like an asterisk of like, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You know?
So I feel the same way. And even as a dad, so right now, your husband and my son are upstairs playing video games, right? Thank
While the
God.
baby sleeps.
While the baby's sleeping. Thank God, because I would literally be sitting here because we're doing this interview at my house. He's off for school and he's with me today. I literally would be feeling, I'm not kidding you, I'd be guilty right now doing this and not spending time with him. But if I spent all day with him, I'd be guilty as hell that you and I didn't do this interview and make an impact and have this great conversation.
So dad guilt is a thing. We talk about mom guilt all the time.
Dad guilt's a real thing. And I don't know, I don't want to, yes, it's definitely, at least in my life, it is, for sure. And I love that we have these conversations, and you said something that I wanted to elaborate on, but you're in the middle of something and I didn't want to distract you. But what we focus on gets better, right? If your husband's in great shape, he obviously focuses on exercise and working out, right? If you guys have a great relationship or someone has a great relationship or their business is doing good, that business is getting focus, right? And I think one of the biggest things, you said it, is we're all chasing the horizon.
Yeah.
We're all chasing something that doesn't exist. Like you can run west as fast as you can. You'll never get to the horizon. It's always going to be setting in front of you. I know, at least this is with me. And if I'm wrong for you guys listening or watching, that's okay. But I believe that there's been times in my life where I've been upset with myself because I'm chasing to be in the best shape, that I have a love handle when I'm actually skinny, but I feel like I got a love handle, and I wasn't perfect in my relationship. I didn't show up. I wasn't the right dad. I walked by my employees and I wasn't engaged with them. I barked. Like, I think we're trying for perfection in all of them.
Yeah.
And what it actually does is deflate us, and then we don't focus on any of them. At least this has been in my experience. And I think you're right. There's a season for each one.
Yep.
But, and this is where we could debate back and forth.
All right,
I got
here
a
we
few
go.
years on you. Is I'm in a place in my life right now that if you prioritize, and I say no to a lot more things than I did in my 30s.
Which is crazy to me because I feel like you're
I say no to so many
everywhere.
things. I say no to people. I say no to everything that doesn't serve just a couple things in my life. To be a better man, that's probably not the top of it. Like to be a present father, to be a good man to my fiance and future wife, and to serve the people that follow me and my company.
Yeah.
And the truth is, that's only 3.
Yeah.
Those 3 are my top priority. And if it doesn't fit in that, it's mostly a no, because here's what I know, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Is if I say no to more and more things, I get to say yes to the things that allow me to be good in shape. I'm not in perfect shape, but I'm 50. I'm in good shape.
Yep.
My relationship is amazing. I think I'm a great dad.
Yeah.
My companies are thriving. Like, I'm not trying to say I have it all and it's at work, of course, but I didn't have that in my 30s. I didn't even have it in my 40s. But I do now, but at the same time, I have old friends that probably think, oh, he's too good for me now because he doesn't talk to me. But they're not part of my priority. I'm sorry. I say no to everything. I don't go to fundraisers anymore. I used to like go to fundraisers. I used to dress up. There's not a suit in my closet. If I have to wear a suit, I'm buying a suit to get married, but I don't own a suit because I don't like it and I don't do it. And I don't apologize anymore. I have family that try to guilt me into seeing them, but when I go there, it's negative talk and it doesn't inspire my life. I don't go anymore. And as bad as that sounds, and I know we're just going all over the place here, especially because we had a glass of wine too, is I think the answer to the opportunity, and if it takes, like, I'm happy that it hit me at 50, that I feel like I got a lot of them. If you're gonna have the opportunity to have more of those chapters of your life be congruent, like be thriving at the same time, is you got to make the hard no decisions on what are the things that don't serve you. Like, what are you doing out of guilt? What are you doing out of old school repetition? What are you doing out of a hypnotic rhythm because your parents said it was smart to go to church for 6 hours, twice a week, and you go, I only want to go for 2 hours on a Sunday. Like, that's who I am. Like, that's what I believe. That's when I believe you have the time to do it.
Well, I think for me, like, time is my currency. I think money was my currency for a long time. And then I made money. And I was like, what does money allow me to get back? Time. So now, like, when I look at how I spend money, it's all about saving time. Like, I will order things from Amazon. I will pay a housekeeper. I will, do these things to get back my time. And when I found out we were pregnant and it seemed like the pregnancy was going to stay for the first time, I was like, I'm going to do something radical. And I blacked out my entire year. This year, literally, I had not a single obligation on the calendar.
That's amazing.
Not one speaking thing, not one retreat, not one mastermind, nothing. And I think for a lot of people that would be terrifying, right? I mean, it was kind of scary. But I was like, if time is my currency, I want to only make decisions because they're the right decision at that time. And I didn't know what being a mom would be like. Like, I didn't know if I'd want to travel or if I'd want to be home. I didn't know if I'd feel ready to leave the baby or if I'd want to bring her with. And so balance to me is like, it's protecting your best yeses and saying no. Like, if it's like a maybe, it's a no, How do you think you get to that point, though, of like knowing what is a yes and a no?
One is not caring what other people think. But really not caring. Not pretending you don't care. Right? Because there's people who pretend they don't care and then it bugs them. And I don't. I lost that. Like, I don't care. Like, if I make a decision, it's right. Because I heard something a long time ago that helps me when I go shopping, or used to. If you don't love it in the store, you'll never wear it. As a girl, you probably know that. And as a guy, like, duh, why don't you tell more of us guys? Like, if you don't absolutely love it in the store, you won't go. And I feel like if it's a maybe, it's a no. Like, we got invited this weekend to go to Chicago. I have a dear friend of mine who's going to, it's like one of the top rich, well, it doesn't matter, one of the richest, wealthiest men in America. He's throwing a 10-year anniversary party. My fiance's friends with the family, and my friend John is also going. And it's like who's going to be there. And I really thought through it, and there's not one thing that excites. I don't care to meet any. Like, I don't personally care about a celebrity. I don't care to get the like Instagram shot. I will hide when I go there. And I'll probably have to go buy a suit because I don't have one in my closet.
None of that sounds good.
And not one of it sounds good. And it's just an absolute no. And I know 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I would have dreamed to be invited to this place, right? But it's an absolute no. And that's just one of many things. I say no to mostly everything because I want to be in better shape.
Yeah.
I want to have a better relationship with my children. Like, they're 10 and 12. My daughter's gonna be 13 in 6 months. Like, I know what teenage years are. Not that she's going to rebel, but
Yeah.
I know the distance. It's time for her friends. It's time to explore who she is as a woman. Like, and I want to fuel all that, right? So, like, I'm going to digress here for a minute. I have a really good friend who's 10 years older than me, and he said, just realize this with your daughter. When she was born, before my son was even born, he said, she's not going to really understand summer vacations until she's about 4 or 5. And then she'll be really fun. Until then, she's just dependent on you.
Yep.
And then when she's 14, she is going to have her friends with her on summer vacations.
Yep.
So he said to me, Dean, and he looked at me just like this. He went, Dean, you have 10 summers with your daughter. And he said it just like that. And I don't know if it hit you, but it punched me in the heart. And I'm like, 10 summers? Every summer is going to matter. Every summer. I don't care. Like, nothing can get me to, like, nothing. Like, and so it allows me to judge that and I can make hard decisions fast now.
Yeah,
And I
same.
swear to you, I couldn't, you're more mature than me. I'm just being honest. In my 30s, I made decisions based on what could make me more successful.
Yeah.
I hate that dude, but I'll take his money to be a partner to buy that real estate.
Yep.
I don't like that guy, but I'll go to that party because I think I can meet somebody I can network with. And I made those decisions. I did. It took me a long time and now I realize I wish someone would have shaken me in my 20s and said, write down things that serve you.
Yeah.
And think through being 90 looking back. Think through what serves, what's really in your heart. What are your values? Like, shut up, man. What are your real values? Not the one that you have adopted from what, I wish someone would have forced me that.
Yeah.
And I would have made a hell no list then.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you teach us, I teach us, like, a not to-do list. And I feel like nowadays we find value in doing. Like, I always make the joke, and I'm sure somebody said this before, but we're not human doings, we're human beings, and we're not being anymore. And it's so funny because when I started to write down the things I hated or the things I dreaded, and then I looked at the things I was committing to, I'm like, this is out of alignment. Like,
And it is completely.
Yeah, and I am the kind of person where if there is something on my calendar 3 months from now, and I already am dreading it, I will dread it for those 3 months. Like, it'll ruin now because I'm like, why did I say yes? And I stopped saying yes.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
But yeah, it is. Well, and it's hard too to say yes to like we're about to leave for a month off. And I feel like as entrepreneurs, like, your brain starts spinning. Like, is this going to hold me back? Is this going to derail me? Is this going to freeze me? Is this going to slow my growth? And it's like, man, I've learned that like things happen even better when I'm off. Like I get inspired again. I think again. I'm present again. It like recalibrates me. I need that.
Because you get, like, and this is cliche, you get on the hamster wheel, but you do. You get sucked into the day-to-day and you stop being that visionary looking out to the future and you're looking at the day-to-day. So I would bet to say that your company has actually grown because of your time off.
I think so. So here's something interesting that I would love to discuss about balance, especially as a mom, is I think moms are held to a different standard than dads are, specifically in the world of business. So we met in Puerto Rico. My daughter was 12 weeks old. Most women have gone back to traditional jobs by this point in the US. And I said yes to Puerto Rico. I was only there for 2 days. I flew back so that I could fly with my daughter to California for a mother-daughter trip. And I got flack for leaving her. And can you imagine as a dad having a 12-week-old and people saying, how dare you leave your child behind because you're pursuing your business?
Wow, I see. This is why this is going to be great.
Yeah.
I would never think through that, and I would be like mortified that someone would have the nerve to say that.
After being home for months on end, after sidelining everything, I decided to go on a 3-day trip for my business, and I'm a bad mom. Isn't that crazy? But it's a double standard, and the thing that I appreciate about you and what I see in you and why I care about you is like, I see the kind of parent I want to be in you, even though we're different genders, even though we're in different roles. But man, like, I feel like I was talking to my mom about this, and I was like, A man could go on a business trip and they can kind of disconnect from parenting a little bit more. Like as a nursing mom, I was reminded every 3 hours that there is a child back at home waiting for mama, you know? And it's like this, you know, your brain is always where you're not, you know? And so balance, especially as a parent, but even when I wasn't a parent, balance was a challenge. But balance, I just feel like when you are in pursuit of something more, I don't think you'll ever be in balance.
More meaning like?
Just anything, business, life, dreaming bigger. I feel like you're always going to have to choose a priority somewhere, you know?
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay, go.
Yeah, because I'm always like, and maybe I misunderstood it, but like I'm always obsessed with more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, you are.
Like you called me out big time. You, me, and Lisa went to dinner after we did the biggest launch in the history of the internet.
Yeah.
Right? It was amazing. It was everything, and it hit my goals right on point. I set a goal a year in advance. I said we were going to do X, and we did X. And as soon as I was done, I celebrated for like 14 seconds, and I was on to what's next. No, tell me where you're going.
Yeah.
What are you doing, right? And I was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And you like held me accountable. So I think there's a balance between the two.
Yeah.
I get my drive out of what's next.
Yeah.
But I get my drive out of what's next. Like, how can I be a better parent? Like, I still read, every third or fourth book is a parenting book.
Yeah.
Still. And I listen to books now. I don't read because I'm terrible at reading still, but I listen to books. Every third or fourth book is a parenting book. I still, about twice a month, I still talk to a counselor on how to be a better dad. Because I have a fear of not being a good dad. I still screw up royally as a father, but I want to be better and better. Like right now, my relationship with my daughter, and I'm sorry, I'm digressing here for a second. My relationship with my daughter is like how you and I get along. No joke. We met, I told you, my fiance was like, I love her. That's a real person, I could tell. And she's got the best intuition. But I get along with you like I get along with my daughter. Like she's 12. I've only raised my voice with her probably 3 times since she was born. We have the easiest, like she's just a good kid. She makes smart decisions. I told her since she was 2, I'd drive her to school. I'd look in the rearview mirror. I'd say, what can you tell Dad? And her answer was anything. And like to this day, she doesn't lie to me about anything. Like we got this great, easy relationship. And simultaneously with my son, it's difficult. He's different. He challenges me every day. And I had a lot of like regret of like he would spin me up so much that I would snap and I'd yell or I'd say something rude or I'd send him to his room, and I'm like, I'm not figuring out his puzzle. Yeah. So the reason I'm saying this and digressing here for a second is I make mistakes. We all do as parents. You'll feel these moments. I promise you. You'll have a parenting moment. You'll walk out and go, oh my God, why did I handle it that way? Yeah. I never had those with my daughter. Now all of a sudden I got this son where I'm doing those once a month. Right. So right now I'm obsessing on growing, and I got this from Shoe Dog, the book, because he talked about it with his son, is I want to figure out the puzzle of my son. He's a little OCD. Everything's got to be like, I don't think the way he does, but I'm trying to look through his glasses.
Him and my husband will get along.
And I'm trying to grow as a man, as a father in him. Yep. But simultaneously, I want to grow my business and everything we talked about nonstop. I'm obsessed with growth. I'm obsessed with my company growing. Like I'm at 100 million, I want 200 million. I'm at 200 million, I want 400 million. I've done $1 billion in sales, I want to do 5 billion, right? But I guess this is the thing, and I hope I'm not going down a wrong track here because I had a glass of wine. I don't compromise what's important to me for my growth. I know I did in my 20s and 30s and probably half of my 40s. I don't compromise being a parent, number one, being a good man and fiance and future husband, number one, being ethical and inspiring people with real tactics, and my team is my family, number one. Like those 4, like I don't compromise all that. My health, because I want to live a long time. Like I don't compromise it. And I just think, and this is really like, I talk my life out. Like I find solutions by talking it, not writing, not thinking, not planning. I talk out and as we're having this conversation, I realize one of the hardest things that people struggle with is saying no. And Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, strategic coach, said something one day. He's like, the accountant that got you out of Egypt might not be the accountant that takes you to the promised land. And what he meant was, the accountant that got you to $5 million a year, his capabilities might run out when you go to $50 million a year. It doesn't make him a bad person. He just got you out of Egypt. Celebrate him.
Yeah.
But now you need a new accountant that could take you to the promised land. And I adopted something a long time ago, and let's talk about this, is yes gets you out of Egypt, but no takes you to the promised land.
Yes. Yes. That's 100%. I mean, I didn't stop shooting weddings until a year ago. Like, I kept saying yes to these things because I thought that's what I'm known for. That's where I got my start. That's how I show up in the world. I said yes to so many wrong things because I felt like I had to, or like I was holding myself to a standard that was like no one else was holding me to that standard.
Yeah.
And I didn't get real freedom until I started saying no. And dang, it feels good to say no. Like when you have something so important to back up your nose, yeses feel like you are lucky.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You said no to what you knew. You knew in advance people would criticize you for going to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I know you know.
Yeah.
You're intuitive.
Yeah.
And you know your audience and you care about them so much. You knew maybe family and people that follow you would say, but you still said no to them and you went to Puerto Rico, right? But think about that trip. Think about
It's changed everything.
Right? Think about our relationship.
Yep.
Just us.
Yeah.
You have that whole table,
Yeah.
right? With that table, I called Ed Milet and said, you need to get Jenna on your show.
Yep.
I called you don't even know, I called like 5 of my friends and said, you need to get Jenna on your show. Like, our business together, we got to impact people's lives with the Knowledge Business Blueprint.
Yeah.
We get to do this conversation right now.
Yeah.
I'm only one of the people you met,
Yeah.
so I'm not taking all this
Yeah.
credit. But if you didn't say no to weddings, you wouldn't have had a chance to go to Puerto Rico. If you didn't say no to what other people's beliefs on you, because you're a woman, not a man,
Yep.
you still went, right?
Yep.
So this whole concept, and I didn't know this episode would go down that direction, but what if no was really the thing that got you the yeses that you really want?
I think it is. I mean, when I look at my calendar this year, I told people, anywhere you see me showing up this year is because I want to, not because I have to.
Wow.
With a blacked out calendar, anything that you see me doing is only because I want to. And I think that's different because I think we're so used to overcommitting and, we're saying yeses and then we're just showing up to things because we said yes. But it's like, I can show up in any way this year and the only reason I'm showing up is because I want to.
Yeah. But wouldn't that be the definition of success?
Yeah.
Like if you would have asked yourself 10 years ago,
I'm
what you
only doing things
that I want to do, right? That's my deepest why is I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it without anybody telling me how.
Yeah.
Right? And I hesitate talking about it because I talk about it so much. I talk about it in my book and on stage, but one of the biggest needle movers in my life is a not to-do list. Mm-hmm. It really is. And we don't have to over talk about it. Just the fact of the matter is everybody has a to-do list. And how's that working out for you? Mm-hmm. Like you're trying to do it all and you go to bed at night and you feel like you did nothing.
Yep.
Like how many times did you hustle all day, you're exhausted, you put your head on the pillow and you're like, damn it, I got nothing done.
Yep.
Because you're focused on what you were doing rather than just saying, no, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
That's a habit. That doesn't serve me. That brings negativity in my life. I don't, when you analyze it from that perspective, life changes forever.
I think if anyone listens to this, I think that the heart of it is that to be in pursuit of balance means to really protect your yeses, establish your no's, stand firm in those, but also to acknowledge that you cannot be all things to all people. And when you show up and you stay in your lane and you focus on your priorities, whatever they are, whether it's family or business or life or relationships or whatever that is, I feel like that's true balance. And I feel like when you can recognize
the difference.
Yes, the difference, that's when you've made it.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say is just like you said, different seasons, right?
Right.
You have a baby. You can't be in the best shape of your life after
Yeah.
having a baby. Oh my God, a man cannot even imagine. I know that.
Really?
I know I can.
Yeah.
Right? but you know you'll be back where you want to be, whatever that means to you.
Yep.
Right? You know that you took a year off and you're being a mom. Business might do great, but stay at a certain level this year, or might grow because you're not there. But either way, even if it stayed the same until you say, oh, my daughter's in preschool, I'm going to, like, if you look at it that way, it really changes the trajectory of your emotions, your thoughts, and your energy. And I say that for this, as your daughter gets older, you're going to see something.
Yeah.
And maybe because I was a little older. So I was 40 when I had my daughter, and no, I was 38. I was 40 when I had my son. So I was a little bit older, right? So I think this helped, because what would happen is, like, my daughter wet the bed, right? And everybody, like, everything I read online, people freak out over your daughter's has the bottle until she's too old, or she wets the bed, or when you're sleeping, she comes in because she comes in your room and she sleeps with you 2 nights a week because she's scared. All that, like, people freak out, but guess what? All of it goes away. Like, my daughter wet the bed, and I'm like, who cares? I'll change her sheets, and I'll do it myself. I'll change her sheets. And then one day she just stopped. She had the bottle for too long. And one Christmas, she was having her bottle, and I said, you know, Santa, I got a letter from Santa, babe. She was like 3, and she was still using the bottle. I said, I got a letter from Santa. He said he wants to bring things, but he feels it's time that you don't have your bottle anymore. She's like, he wants my bottle? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay. Bottle was done. Like, all the things that you worry about go away. And it's the same with the seasons. Like, we have to look at it. We have to like, rise above it and say, okay, I had a baby. Things are going to change. I just got married. Things are going to change. I just had a divorce. Things are going to change. I quit my job. Things are going to change. But I can get back to better shape, better relationships, more happiness, make more money, do my own thing, back to Pilates, back to yoga, back to climbing mountains. Like, and if you look at it, like, it just changes your perspective.
Yeah. The only thing constant is change, right?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. I think this should be a drinking show.
What's up? What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.